Sometimes I think we should have coffee hour first, maybe. Good morning. Welcome to Two Rivers Unitarian Universalist Community. My name is Peter Westcott, and I'll be serving as the worship associate today. We're delighted that Tom Acker, PhD, joins us in the pulpit today. Tom is a founding member of Western Slope Against Trafficking, a retired professor of Spanish. Ignacio Alvarado and Tom have conducted outreach on sheep herders in Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, and New Mexico since 2006. Through collaborations with Towards Justice and Colorado Legal Services and Hispanic Affairs, he has seen salaries increase from $700 per month to the current $2,200 in Colorado. The power imbalance for H-2A guest workers still remains. Our worship theme for the month of December is the practice of presence. Immigration was a top topic in this election. What are some of the myths and the realities around this issue? What are some of the experiences that immigrants have lived that will inform us of this complex issue? As part of that reality check, we will hear from former sheep herder turned outreach worker focused on the guest worker sheep herders in the West and how their experiences about the lives of these hardworking individuals. We'll also hear from two recent arrivals in our community and learn of their experiences. If we have any guests today who feel comfortable introducing themselves or being introduced, we invite you to do so. And if you prefer to sit quietly, I hope you feel our warm embrace. For guests online, please use the chat to introduce yourselves. Anyone? Okay. We invite everyone to join us after the service for coffee and lively discussion. I want to express our gratitude for Liza and Andrew serving as the setup today, and for Dee Dee and Ed as our coffee hour hosts. Thank you to our co-music directors, Paul and Misha, and much gratitude to Andrew for keeping us online. If you would like to connect to our community, please leave contact information on the back of the order of service. We also invite those with pastoral and caring committee concerns to use the back of the order of service as well. We try to do the announcements in the beginning now, and I know Rita has a couple. Do you want to?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rita Marsh. I'm co-founder of the Center for Human Flourishing, and we have two events this week we want to let you know of. This afternoon is a labyrinth walk in the Round Room with Laura Kirk and Pam Rosenthal, walking each other home. Home is where the heart is. That's at 3:30. Then Friday, on the 6th of December, a vibrational sound healing journey in the Round Room again with Zach Cashin and his wife, Krista. Crystal bowls, didgeridoo, chimes, gongs, the whole bit. Clear your energies. Get ready for the next holiday season. Thank you.
Thanks, Rita. Reverend Florence Caplow is joining us for our winter solstice services this year, and we would like our TRUU singers to sing at the morning service on December 22nd. If you would like to sing, please chat with Paul Dankers after the service today. Our TRUU auction is complete, but not all of the items were sold. So they have been relisted on our website and are available for purchase at any time, with all of the proceeds going to support TRUU. Please go to our website and check that out. Now please silence your phones, watches, and anything else that might make noise as we move into worship with a musical prelude by Micha and Paul.
All right, you may know the song sung by Peter, Paul, and Mary, and if you do, please joyfully sing along. The lyrics for the chorus will be on the screen, and you may harmonize, improvise, let's make this a joyful one.
Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. The stream sings it to the river sings it to the sea sings it to the boat that carries you and me. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. The boat we are sailing in was built by many hands, and the sea we are sailing on, it touches every land. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. So with our hopes we set the sails and we face the winds once more, and with our hearts we chart the waters never sailed before. Somos el barco, somos el mar, yo navego en ti, tú navegas en mí. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me. We are the boat, we are the sea, I sail in you, you sail in me.
That was beautiful. Please rise and body your spirit for our opening hymn. We'll remain standing through our sung aspiration. Love is the spirit of this community, and service is its law. This is our covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Spirit of love, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the air, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of love, come to me, come to me.
Please be seated. We need to do the chalice lighting. I don't even see it in here. Udell. Do you want me to light it?
Yes, please. Okay, so the chalice lighting, we're going to talk about This Place is Sanctuary by Kathleen Mateague. You who are brokenhearted, who woke today with the winds of despair whistling through your mind, come in. You who are brave but wounded, limping through life and hurting with every step, come in. You who are fearful, who live with shadows hovering over your shoulders, come in. This place is sanctuary, and it is for you, you who are filled with happiness, whose abundance overflows. Come in. You who walk through the world, with lightness and grace, who awoke this morning with strength and hope, you who have everything to give, come in. This place is your calling, a riverbank to channel the sweet waters of your life, the place where you are called by the world's need. Come in. Here we offer in love, here we receive in gratitude, here we make a circle from the great gifts of breath and attention and purpose. Come in.
This is the time in our service where we honor and acknowledge those we hold in our hearts who are not with us in this space, those we love who are facing challenges, those we love who are celebrating milestones, those we love who have passed away. By saying their names in this space, the TRUU community can hold your sorrow or your joy as well. Please speak up so that everyone can hear.
Liz, Steve, Cy.
And for all those who haven't been named, who are also in our hearts. Now a musical meditation.
We want to introduce to you today our good friends Kevin, right here, and Felix. And at the end is Tom, who's going to translate for us. Kevin and Felix arrived in the valley about a year ago, along with about 80 other, mostly Venezuelans, and they were camped out under the bridge by the river and the highway for a while until town of Carbondale realized they were a lot of people down there. And it was quite cold, and so the town worked on housing them here in 3rd Street Center in the community room. They were in there for a while. And then they got moved to the basement of the Methodist Church and also a room in the town hall. And that kept going until it couldn't go any longer. And so on April 1st, that program ended, and there was a kind of a scramble to find homes for all of these people to stay in. So I know Larry Bogatz took a family to stay with him, and Nikki and Ron took a young man to live with them. Peter and I took Kevin and Felix and another young man and a family. Some of them were in our little apartment, some of them were in our sauna, some of them were on our little trailer. And we could do that because our Airbnb that we rent out wasn't rented for about 6 weeks. So we housed all those people for 6 weeks until, mid-May, and then our unit was open for renters. So they had to find other places. Gary and Thelma took Luis and another young man, and Kevin and Felix lived in their car, parked up on Red Hill for the parking lot up there for all summer. And then we asked the TRUU board if they could move into the basement of the parsonage. So that's where they moved at the end of August and lived they're still there in the basement. So we thought you should meet them. Anything else?
They'll be there through the winter.
They'll be there through the winter. And we've asked Tom to come and help translate their interview questions. And so we have a few questions for them, and then I'll give the mic to Tom. Or you have a mic. Okay. First question we want to know that Tom can ask them is, tell us about your life in Venezuela before you left, your family, your work, and the political situation.
Cuéntenos de su vida en Venezuela antes de salir, acerca de su familia, su trabajo y la situación política. Y no sé si Félix quiere ir primero.
¿Tú quieres que te cuente de mi trabajo en
Pues
Venezuela?
queremos saber.
Bueno, sí, en Venezuela trabajaba por una empresa
So in Venezuela, I worked for a company
de materiales de pintura
which made painting materials.
y pues bueno, no es bueno como uno piensa porque es una fábrica.
It's not great because, as one knows, it's a factory.
Poquito dinero,
Small salary.
sí. Y el dinero no alcanza para la comida.
And the salary I didn't make enough salary to pay for food.
Tenía 2 trabajos
I had
En
2 jobs.
en la compañía y trabajaba por mi cuenta.
I had a job in the company and I worked on my own.
Pero igual manera no alcanza el dinero.
And even then, the salaries I made didn't make enough for me.
A mí porque yo tengo 3 hijos
Mhm.
y no me alcanza para darle todo lo que uno quiere como padre.
I have 3 kids and I couldn't afford to pay all the things I wanted to for my family.
Por eso tomé la decisión de venirme hacia acá,
That's why I decided to make the decision to come here,
hacia Estados Unidos, por mejor bienestar y un futuro mejor,
to come to the United States for better well-being and for a better future,
más que todo por mis hijos.
and above all for my kids.
Pero es duro dejar la familia.
But it's very hard to leave one's family.
No, uno quisiera estar con ellos, pero no puedo dejarlos, como le digo, dejarlo como está Venezuela ahorita, que no hay oportunidades, el dinero no alcanza.
I'd want to be with them, I prefer to be with them, but I can't be, not the way Venezuela is now with the lack of opportunities.
Pero aquí en Estados Unidos me ha ido muy bien, he conocido muchas personas buenas, Kay y Peter,
Here in the United States, it's gone very well for me. I've met some great folks, Kate and Peter.
Kay y Peter es como si fueran mis padres aquí.
They're as if they were my parents here.
Me quieren mucho y nos ayudan,
They,
como de corazón, ¿entiendes? Nos
they,
ayudan
they love us and they take care of us from their heart.
y no me adapto todavía al país.
See, and I still haven't spoken about the country.
Pero hacemos lo mejor que podemos.
Uh-huh. We're doing the best we can. Okay? And Kevin?
Yeah.
Repito la pregunta. Cuéntenos de su familia, de su trabajo y después podemos hablar de la situación política.
Pues mi familia se encuentra ahorita en Venezuela,
So my family is back in
Yeah.
Venezuela.
pero la situación que me condujo a llegar a este país fue porque está muy difícil en Venezuela.
What
y-
pushed me to come to this country was it's
Yeah.
very difficult in Venezuela.
Y para cualquier joven que sueña con alguna oportunidad de salir adelante, de sacar a su familia adelante, se le hace muy complicado porque
For-
el país está muy difícil.
For any young person that wants to move ahead and get their family on a good footing, the situation in Venezuela is very difficult.
Sí, y para cualquier universitario que piense estudiar, así como yo que pensaba estudiar a futuro, es muy complicado porque los estudios no valen para nada en Venezuela.
And for any, university student that wants to enroll, it's difficult because the university studies in Venezuela aren't worth anything.
Y pues eso me condujo a llegar a este país para darle mejor economía a mi familia, mejores cosas y poder ayudarlo lo más que pueda.
And that's what drove me to come here, to get better things for my family and just make things better for my family.
Y llegué a este país que se me ha hecho un poco complicado, pero es el país de las oportunidades y de los sueños. Y todo se puede lograr con la voluntad de Dios.
And getting to this country was pretty complicated, but it's the land of dreams and possibilities.
Y pues de que he llegado a este país, he conocido muchas personas buenas que me han ayudado, como Peter y Kay, que prácticamente para nosotros es como una familia y todo lo que ellos hacen por nosotros es de corazón y es de agradecer.
And so arriving here, I've met many great people like Peter and Kate. They're like a family for us, and a lot of people helping us from the bottom of their heart.
Y pues ahorita estamos tratando de hacer las cosas lo mejor posible aquí para trabajar, aportar al país y pues salir adelante.
So right now, we're trying to do the best we can, working, trying to contribute to the country, and just keep moving forward.
¿Y otra pregunta?
Bueno, entonces para los dos, la pregunta es, cuéntanos de la situación política en Venezuela.
The,
So this question is, answering, tell us about the political situation in Venezuela. And if
Okay.
Félix si quiere contestar primero.
La situación política, bueno, como han visto ¿cómo se dice? En las noticias, el presidente, ¿cómo le digo? El presidente no sirve.
Okay, so as you've seen on the news, the president isn't worth anything.
La economía tampoco.
The economy doesn't work either.
Tú trabajas todo el mes por $15, todo el mes.
You work a whole month and all you make is $15.
Y eso en realidad no alcanza para la comida, para... Si
Enfermas.
los hospitales allá no funcionan,
And that doesn't
no funcionan.
enable you to even cover food. The hospitals aren't working.
El gobierno utiliza, ¿cómo le digo? El gobierno no quiere que tú surjas, que
estés bien.
estés bien, no. El gobierno te echa a la policía. Si tú no estás con el partido del gobierno, te pueden meter preso, no puedes salir a la calle.
If you're not with the government political party, they can put you in jail, they can, you know.
Tú vives en Venezuela una zozobra, un susto, como esperando que llegue alguien y te robe o te mate por $10.
You're living in Venezuela, your life in Venezuela is constant angst. You're never knowing when somebody's going to rob you, going to kill you for, you know, a few dollars.
El país está demasiado quebrado ya.
The country is just too broken right now.
Lo que le puedo decir que yo he visto
Yeah.
de cómo está mi país, que me da tristeza decir esas cosas de mi país porque yo quiero mucho mi país.
It makes me sad to say these things about my country because I love my country.
Y yo no vine a Estados Unidos para incomodar a otras personas, a los americanos. Yo vine porque quiero trabajar y quiero ayudar a mi familia.
Mhm.
Pero si mi país estuviera en buen estado, yo no estuviera aquí.
Yeah, I came to this country not, a ver si entiendo, a lo americano, quiere decir, convertirse en americano o...
No. Que si mi país estuviera bien de economía y un buen presidente,
Mhm.
nosotros no fuéramos venido aquí.
Yeah, so if my country were working and if we had a good president, we wouldn't be here.
Pero yo sé que algún día va a cambiar
And I just know that one day
y
that will
vamos a volver
change.
y están todos invitados. Venezuela es muy bonito,
Yeah, and
muchas playas.
you're all welcome to come to Venezuela when that happens.
Cuando ya no esté Maduro, ¿no? Cuando no esté Maduro.
Yeah, so when Maduro is no longer
Cuando no esté
there,
Maduro, pueden ir y serán bien recibidos. Los
And
venezolanos son alegres,
you will be very
contentos.
welcome. Venezuelans are happy people. Okay,
Bueno, ese es lo que
gracias.
es.
Kevin, la misma pregunta, la situación política según tu perspectiva.
Pues la situación política en Venezuela es un poco triste para las personas para los ciudadanos venezolanos.
The political situation in Venezuela is very sad for Venezuelans.
Sí, porque ya hace algunos años el país ha estado súper en decadencia.
The country has been decaying for several years now.
Sí, y prácticamente muchas personas han salido del país por la situación que está atravesando el país. Y es difícil porque muchas personas han tenido que abandonar sus familias, han tenido que abandonar sus hogares, todo lo que han construido durante muchos años para venir al país, a este país, a empezar de cero prácticamente.
Many people have left the country. They've had to leave their families and they've had to leave what they've left behind, all that they've worked so hard to develop. And so some come to this country.
Y pues las personas que han salido del país no es porque ellos quieran salir del país, así como nosotros, es porque de verdad está muy complicado en la situación de la economía, que el dinero no alcanza para muchas cosas que uno necesite, o sea, como lo esencial, la comida y la salud.
People don't leave the country because they want to leave the country. They come because the essential things for health and well-being are not accessible.
Y pues el sistema de educación en Venezuela está en colapso, no sirve la educación porque prácticamente los profesores no quieren dar clases.
And the education system doesn't work in Venezuela. It's probably in collapse because the professors and teachers don't want to teach.
Y pues la mayoría de jóvenes que han querido emprender un sueño en Venezuela o alguna carrera en Venezuela se vienen a este país a buscar oportunidades.
And so for that reason, young people that want to develop a career in Venezuela, they come to this country.
Y pues si no estás con el gobierno, no estás en las ideas del gobierno, te acusan de terrorismo, te acusan de criminal y puedes ir a la cárcel por muchos años y violan de tus derechos humanos.
If you're not supporting the government, then they will accuse you of terrorism or criminality, and they can put you in jail for many years.
Y pues eso está muy complicado en Venezuela.
Okay. So some of the questions that we see have already been answered, really.
Right.
I'm going to skip to the next one. So briefly describe your journey here, including the hardest parts. Brevemente describe su viaje, su experiencia hasta acá, y cuéntenos de las partes más duras.
Lo mismo que pasé yo, lo pasarías tú, ¿eh?
No, diferente, pero
Bueno, en los mismos países.
no, pero cuenta tu historia.
Ajá. Bueno, yo me vine salí de Venezuela hacia Colombia.
I left leaving Venezuela and heading to Colombia.
En Colombia tiene que viajar en autobús hasta un sitio que se llama Turbo o Necoclí, que eso queda en Colombia.
So you have to ride a bus to a place called Turbo o Nicolí. That's in Colombia.
Ahí tú tienes que agarrar una lancha para llegar a la selva entre Colombia y Panamá.
And that's when you get on a boat that takes you into the jungle between Panama and Colombia.
Ahí tú estás solamente con Dios en la selva.
And there, God is the only thing you have.
Tienes que, no sé, depende de la persona, dura 3 o 5 días caminando la selva.
You're gonna, depends on the person, but you're probably gonna be walking 3 or 5 days walking through the jungle.
Hay momentos que no tienes comida ya, tienes que seguir caminando para llegar a Panamá.
There's times when you no longer have food and you just have to keep walking to get to Panama.
Después de Panamá, tienes que agarrar otro autobús. Panamá viene
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
And then after Panama, you have to take another bus and that'll take you to Costa Rica.
Y hay momentos que tienes que caminar porque la inmigración de cada país no te deja pasar.
And that's, at that point, you have to walk because immigration in each country, they won't let you cross the border.
Tienes que, la inmigración de aquí, tienes que pasar como por un ladito, como desviarlo.
Desviar.
Yeah.
Como desviar.
So immigration's right here and you kind of have to walk around it. You have to,
Pero el país más duro de pasar para llegar a Estados Unidos es México.
but the most difficult country that you have to go through to get to the United States is Mexico.
Porque tú avanzas una provincia, una ciudad y te llega a ver inmigración o un policía y te devuelven otra vez para Guatemala.
Because you go through a province and the police detain you and they send you back to Guatemala.
Y bueno, ya cuando llegué a México, que pude llegar a la frontera de Estados Unidos, crucé el río.
And so when I got
Crucé el río para llegar a la frontera.
from
de Estados Unidos.
Mexico, I had to cross the river at the border to get into the United States.
Cuando tú llegas a la frontera de Estados Unidos, hay mucha interferencia para uno, hay cosas que cortan, alambre. Tú tienes que lograr pasar para llegar a la policía de Estados Unidos.
And so when you get to the border with Mexico, you have to go through the piano wire in order to get to the police of the United States.
Yo llegué y me entregué en la autoridad de Estados Unidos y duré 28 días retenido.
And so I managed to get to United States officials, and I was detained for 28 days.
Y donde lo encierran a uno ya en Estados Unidos, es algo como esto, así, cerrado y no te dejan dormir. Es como una prueba psicológica que te ponen ellos mismos, porque no te dejan dormir, te sacan a preguntarte que firmes tu deportación y todas esas cosas.
So it's a building similar to this, but it's almost as if they were giving you psychological torture. They don't let you sleep. They ask you questions. They try to get you to sign a deportation document.
Pero me dejaron pasar y bueno, aquí estoy con ustedes.
And they let me out, and here I am with you.
Estoy con ustedes, gracias a Dios.
Thank God. Kevin, lo mismo.
Ok, pues yo salí con un primo
Ajá.
de Venezuela,
So I left Venezuela with my cousin.
pero se nos hizo muy duro el camino porque solamente éramos él y yo prácticamente solos, los otros dos.
And so the way was very difficult. It was just he and I.
Y pues pasamos lo que es la selva, así como dijo Félix,
Yeah, we went through the jungle just the way Felix described it.
y luego pasamos varios países como Costa Rica, después de Costa Rica, que viene
Guatemala, ¿no?
Nicaragua,
Oh, Nicaragua.
Honduras.
y
Guatemala.
y Guatemala y México.
And so you heard the list. They went through Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Guatemala, Mexico.
México. Y hasta que llegamos a México, y en México, como dice Félix, es la parte más difícil para poder llegar aquí a Estados Unidos, pero con la voluntad de Dios y siempre teniendo fe, los caminos imposibles se hacen posibles.
And so Mexico was the most difficult part, especially to get to the United States. But with faith and God's help, we were able to make it.
Y ya que llegamos a México, nos entregamos a Paw Patrol de aquí, de Estados Unidos. Ellos nos tuvieron retenidos varios días, nos hicieron preguntas y luego nos soltaron en un punto acordado que ellos tienen para soltar a las personas que ya le hacen el proceso de migración.
So we were detained by the police. They asked us, we were held for several days. They asked us questions, and then they took us to a designated point where they released us.
Luego de lo que pasas de la retención que ellos te dejan, ellos te dan como, o sea, como que algo de oportunidad para que puedas sacar tus papeles, porque te dan papeles para lo de migración, los papeles de migración, y puedes con eso sacar lo que es el permiso de trabajo.
And then that's where they provide you with certain documents that you can, talk to immigration, and they will then give you a work permit.
Después que ya llegué aquí a Estados Unidos, lo primero que uno hace como inmigrante es buscar trabajo y poder salir adelante. Busqué trabajo y empecé a trabajar. Luego llegué aquí a la montaña y fue donde empezó mi aventura, y aquí estoy.
And so, as an immigrant, the first thing you're doing is looking for work in the United States, and we made it here to the mountains, and we found work.
We have several other questions, but we're out of time. So what we think we'll do is have them write answers for those questions. The questions are more about their families and a little bit about their current legal situation, their hopes and plans for the future, and any other ways we could be helping them. But we'll interview them and translate it into English and put it in our newsletter, so you can read more about that. And now we can just have Tom
Okay.
talk to us about his work.
Entonces los van a entrevistar y traducir sus contestaciones de las otras preguntas que tienen, como se nos ha acabado el tiempo. Entonces ahora me va a tocar a mí presentar sobre mi trabajo. Sí, you want them to sit down? Yeah.
Gracias.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience. If I'd been more prepared, I would have had headsets that we could listen to a simultaneous interpreting. Next time we do it, I should be more prepared.
I don't know about that technology.
No, we can get it. So I'm Tom Acker, and retired professor of Spanish, but my career, instead of investigating metaphors in poetry, I have been dedicated to worker rights. And I've found that there are many injustices committed in our country against workers. One of the things we need to be aware of, most importantly, is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights says we all have a right to migrate. There's nothing that should prevent us from doing that. And Eleanor Roosevelt was instrumental in creating that document, and I think that should be our guide, because it really helps us understand what should be humanly possible on this planet. I want to congratulate you, Peter and Kate, and the community for having such a wonderfully cohesive presentation, that everything kind of meshes with what we're trying to discuss here. As you indicated, I have worked in these issues, and we've accomplished some things, but we're worried right now that a lot of the things that we've accomplished are going to get rolled back by the new administration. We don't know what's going to happen. I know we've all been worrying about this, but I think the most important thing that we can do is stay united, create community, and work and address the small things. The bigger things will take care of themselves, and perhaps, hopefully, we won't see him implement some of these ridiculous things he's proposing. But that's going to take a lot of resistance and dedication and organization and education on our part to make sure that we can prevent those things from happening. So in our country, we have about 11 million undocumented people in the U.S., and many of those people have deep roots. Mixed families are very common, as you all will be aware here in western Colorado. We've seen it. People that have been here for 20 and 30 years, even though they've never gotten their documentation, in part because the immigration legal system is so backlogged. You have to wait 10, 20, 30, well, probably the most I've heard is about 18 years. We have 544 DACA students. These are deferred action childhood arrivals. Many of them are working at universities, in public schools, in medical facilities, contributing greatly to our community. I'm sorry. So temporary presence, TPS, those folks, like Kevin and Felix, are 880 in our country right now. They are under the aegis of the Secretary of Homeland Security, which is a cabinet position. And that means that they're under the power of the executive branch, which offers a lot of latitude. You know that we've got an overly powerful executive branch. That should be addressed, but we're not going to see that happen very soon. The Director of Homeland Security can extend the 6 to 18 months that countries that are designated TPS, those citizens from those countries can remain. TPS individuals receive a registration document and work authorization for the duration of that designation, but that designation can be eliminated at the whim of the executive branch. Some of the countries that are under this, the DPS, are Afghanistan, Burma, Cameroon, El Salvador, Ethiopia, Haiti, Honduras, Nepal, Nicaragua, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, the Ukraine, Venezuela, Yemen, and some people from Palestine, Lebanon, Liberia, and Hong Kong. So all of these folks are vulnerable to the whims of the executive branch. But we have organizations that are ramping up their activities that we should be aware of. We have the ACLU, which is getting trainings out there. We have a local ACLU, and we also have the national ACLU. We have Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, which has organizers throughout the state of Colorado. They are organizing right now. The local mountains organizer is Jorge Gutierrez, and I'd be glad to share his contact with this community. We also have very important organization, Voces Unidas de las Montañas. Alex Sanchez is the executive director. They are a wonderful organization doing great things, and you're lucky to have them in your own county. So right now, in speaking to the immigrant community that I have contact with, one of the things that those that were active in our state, and very importantly, got legislation passed which prohibit the participation of local law enforcement with immigration. That has been decoupled. And as you are aware, different counties, Mesa County, where I'm from, is one of them, Garfield County is another one, they've declared themselves non-sanctuary counties. But they need to respect the laws of the state of Colorado. So one of the things I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be talking to the sheriff and asking him if, and we have to decide when it's going to be appropriate, because one of the things we've been talking about is we should wait perhaps and see when things are going to start to happen. In Grand Junction, we're going to have a People's March on January 18th, 2 days before his inauguration. So that's going to bring in a coalition of different folks with different interests, LGBTQ, immigrant rights, women, etc. All of the marginalized people in our communities that are at risk of being, victims of this upcoming administration. One of the things that we feel is curious and we're trying to understand is many of the immigrant rights groups that have been so instrumental, back 20 years ago in 2006 when we pushed to not have our governor implement Show Us Your Papers laws here in Colorado. And we were able to organize, collaborate with, among other organizations, Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, to prevent that. And that's why we have on the books laws from 2019 and 2022 that forbid local law enforcement from participating with immigration. But we'll have to see how that's going to happen. Local police are under the control of municipal government, and we should talk to our city council and make sure that local police chiefs and agents, law enforcement, are not doing anything out on their own or listening to what Trump's trying to tell them to do. Sorry if anybody here is a Trump person. I am not. I just wanted you to know that. And so it's really a question we need to think, like talking to Kevin and Felix is really important. We need to know what the people that are in danger, digamos, let's say, those people that are at risk, we need to know what they need and what they want. We cannot go and do it on our own because we don't know what they need and what they want. So it's really important to really have that good communication going on. Those are some of the things that we're working on. We're looking at, for example, going to people's houses. People we know, going to the immigrant community, say, can we come and talk to you and just kind of find out what your concerns are, et cetera. And we feel that would be a good way to start this communication. We don't have to wait to see what's going to happen, because one of the things we need to do is start setting up our structure before things start happening. So, use your networks, use all the people you know. Kevin and Felix may know people that they can put us in contact with that would help to gain a vision of what people are concerned about and what resources they need. But, you know, I feel like I'm preaching to the choir. I am, aren't I? You're all already doing it. You know, God bless you guys. You are incredible, and I'm so happy. So let's hope that we're able to do some good things in the coming years. Thank you for inviting me, and if I could answer any questions, I know we're kind of tight for time, so it's your call.
Let's see if there's any questions back here.
Other than meeting basic needs like food, housing, shelter, all of that, when you say what is it you need, they need protection to be able to stay here. Do you have a vision of what that is? Once we know that we've provided those basic needs, what next do you do?
It may be direct action. It may be creating a physical barrier between the people that are at risk and law enforcement or whatever agency is trying to do that.
So describe that.
Okay.
We have somebody living with us, has a good job,
Uh-huh.
son goes out to work.
Mm-hmm.
I can protect within my own home.
Okay.
Goes out to work. What is it that neighbors or communities could do to help us?
So I have some documents here from CIRC, Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition. They have materials like have that person have a card that they can hand out that says, I do not speak English or understand English. I speak and understand and blank. So they fill in whatever language they have. I request to have an interpreter during police contact. See that everybody has these sorts of materials. And once again, for that, we want to reach out to Jorge Gutierrez because CIRC is working with its affiliates to make sure we have these sorts of materials. Another material is, well, this is a very interesting and useful one. It's called, Do I Qualify for a Humanitarian Visa? And this is something that's published by the Telluride office of 3-county health network. And this is very useful information just to know what people can qualify for. Here's another document, Know Your Rights. All of these things, we used them 20 years ago. They were very effective. If somebody comes and knocks on your door and says, open the door, I'm ICE, open the door, I'm local police, they don't have a right to come in unless you allow them to come in. But we have to train the immigrant community and at-risk people to know what their rights are. ACLU will train people to do this. CIRC will train people to do this. Invite them to come and train your community and train you so you know how to respond in these cases. So these are some of the ways that we can prepare. Does that answer your question?
There's no such movement to have to create like sponsorship families. So when my immigrant family came in, there was a family that said, we promise we will sponsor.
Uh-huh.
And so that protected them, but it wasn't this environment.
Y para que Félix y Kevin sepan, en el caso de la señora, ella firmó en efecto un contrato diciendo que vamos a proteger a esta familia. You signed some sort of a document that you agreed that you were going to protect this family.
That's my grandparents. There's no such, I'm wondering if there's any movement in the country now to have sponsorship families that would say, don't worry, this person is not going to be a drain on you. I promise that I will.
Ok, la pregunta es si va a haber personas ahorita que pueden documentar que la persona que esté viviendo en sus casas pueden documentar y garantizar que esa persona no va a ser un problema. And so that part of that has to do with legal charge, or what do we call it, public charge. And so you need to ensure that that person is not, because down the road, after these 4 years pass, we don't want that person to have been recorded as being a public charge, using public resources. And public resources means federal resources. They can use nonprofit resources. Hospitals cannot divulge people's identity. HIPAA prohibits that. So if they need health services and they go to hospitals, then if the government is trying to track them down, that hospital is not legally allowed to share that information. So those are the kinds of things that we need to get people trained up on.
You said, does that answer the question? Well, it does and it doesn't, right? Because the devil is in the details.
Correct.
We don't have the details. So I'm wondering, whether the Unitarian congregation would be willing to undertake a center of some sort where, we could provide the information that you have at your fingertips and that we just don't have yet.
Thank you. And that's what we're planning on doing. I've spoken with the pastor at my congregation, and we're going to set up a center for training, a center where people can come. We're going to make sure volunteers have Google Translate so you can interact with people. Those are some of the things that but once again, we're not sure what we're going to need. So, but get your allies, find out who they are, is really important. And something else we need to remember, not everybody that's Mexican is going to be in line with what we're trying to do here, right? We know that many in the Latino community voted against. And this was one of the topics at a recent CERC conference. It was, because DACA has one set of rights and vision for what they're going to get. Undocumented immigrants that don't have anything to aspire to because they're going to have to go back to their country of origin, even though Biden was trying to prevent that. If you were the spouse of a U.S. citizen, you did not have to return to your country of origin. I don't know where that executive order is, and I lost my train of thought. But lots of things to talk about. But yeah, you guys are already a community of great weight, and you need to understand your value in the context that the immigrant communities know you, you're a trusted place, you're a trusted voice. You need to present that outlooking face to the administration so that they know that they just can't come in and steamroll, that there's going to be resistance.
Can you address what the status of the DACA registered folks are? How vulnerable are they?
So we were advising the DACA that have already been under DACA, they have to re-register every 2 years. We recommended that those that had already registered, re-register, but anybody new that was going to register for DACA, they were hearing it in a court down in Louisiana, and I confess, I don't know what they decided about DACA. I do know that resources went down there to kind of protest and push for that court to support the continuation of DACA, but I don't know where that is right now. So people that are already here under DACA, they've registered for 2 more years, unless, I don't know, Donald the crazy decides he's going to do something. But they can still be legally present and have their work rights and have all their continuing, labor and education and everything else. The new people signing up for DACA, they were advised not to sign up because remember, one of the things about DACA is you're giving all your information to the government. And so that's risky given the new administration that's coming in.
My student's daughter is DACA, and she doesn't want her to re-register because that's giving all the information about her undocumented parents and her family and where they live, and so she doesn't want her daughter to.
Yeah, yep. And that was the case way back when Obama was declaring DACA. Everybody was saying, well, what happens when Obama's not in office? Well, here we are. Yeah.
I've been told ICE doesn't have a presence in the valley. Is that true?
I haven't heard of any. Maybe other people have. But recently? Yeah.
That's one of the things I think is the fluidity of all this information. We need to find some way to get concrete information because everybody has different parts and nobody has the whole thing. So
Correct. Correct. So Beatriz Garcia is the board president of Colorado ACLU. She is also the representative for Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition on the Western Slope. She's down in Durango, but she's in an interesting position because she can facilitate trainings and I mean, this is one of the things CIRC is ramping up to, Colorado Immigrant Rights Coalition, to train people so that answering those questions, so there's no doubts about what we can do and what we can't do. Yeah. And so, I mean, if you'd like, I can share information on these different organizations and contact, and I'll give it to Peter and Kate, and you guys can get it disseminated.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Tom.
Yeah. Oh, that's you.
That's
Yep.
me. Okay. If I can figure out where I am. As you can see, I mean, I love to have happier services, but we're in for a challenging 4 years. And thank you. This has been wonderful information for us to have, and I hope that other people will get involved with even our little social justice service, because there's a lot of work to do. I forget what's next. Let me just sort of go here.
Music.
There's special music.
The song we're going to do is called Cantares. It's by Juan Manuel Serrat and inspired by the poetry of Antonio Machado. When I was looking for music for the service, I stumbled over the song and I just couldn't stop listening to it. So I said, I'm going to learn it. To me, it spoke about the hardship and insecurity, but also the mystery of the traveler's journey. And so I want to sing it honoring the courage and resilience of those who travel paths toward hope and opportunity. Kevin y Felix, esta canción es especialmente para ustedes en honor a su valencia y resiliencia como inmigrantes que nos inspiran con sus historias.
Pasa y todo queda, pero lo nuestro es pasar. Pasa haciendo caminos, caminos sobre la mar. Nunca perseguí la gloria, ni dejar en la memoria de los hombres mi canción. Yo amo los mundos sutiles, engravidos y gentiles, como pompas de jabón. Me gusta verlos pintarse, el sol y grana volar, bajo el cielo su temblar. Súbitamente y quebrarse, nunca perseguí la gloria. Caminante, son tus huellas, el camino y nada más. Caminante, no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. Al andar se hace camino, y al volver la vista atrás, se ve la senda que nunca se ha de volver a pisar. Caminante, no hay camino, sino estelas en la mar. Hace algún tiempo en ese lugar, donde los bosques se visten de espinos, se oye la voz de un poeta gritar, caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar, golpe a golpe, verso a verso. Murió el poeta lejos del hogar, le cubre el polvo de un país vecino. Al alejarse vieron llorar, caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar, golpe a golpe, verso a verso. Cuando el jilguero no puede cantar, cuando el poeta es un peregrino, cuando de nada nos sirve de estar, caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar, golpe a golpe, verso a verso, golpe a golpe, verso a verso, golpe a golpe, verso a verso.
We will now receive an offering for the support of this religious community and its work in the world. You are invited to give generously and joyfully as you are willing and able. The collection will be shared with Western Slope Against Trafficking. Online, you can make a secure donation by going to TRUU.org and clicking on the offering plate image at the bottom of the page. You can also mail your pledges to the address shown on the slide or put them in the offering plate as we pass it this morning. As always, we are so grateful for your generosity.
I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. You I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live.
Thank you. Please rise and body your spirit for our closing hymn, Standing on the Side of Love.
The promise of the Spirit, faith, hope, and love above. Every soul is blessed, made whole. The truth in our hearts is our guide. We are standing on the side of love. Hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. Sometimes we build a barrier to keep love tightly bound, corrupted by fear, unwilling to hear, denying the beauty we found. We are standing on the side of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one. Emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. A bright new day is dawning, when love will not devour. Reflections of grace is dawning, when love will not divide, reflections of grace in every embrace, fulfilling the visions divine. We are standing on the side of love, hands joined together as hearts beat as one, emboldened by faith, we dare to proclaim we are standing on the side of love. We are standing on the side of love.
These are the words of Reverend Eric Cherry. Let us hold the refugee and the immigrant in prayer. May God be with you. May your grief and loss be assuaged. May the hard road you travel include spaces of rest and security. May you know your inherent worth and dignity every day of the journey. Let us pray for the people who are met along the way. May they remember how they were strangers too. May they embrace the pathways of compassion. May they recall the teachings of the prophets. May they make room in their hearts and their homes. Udell.
This was a wonderful service. And we're going to extinguish the chalice with the words of Elizabeth Sells Jones. Thank you. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fires of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Please rise in body and spirit. You're already risen. And join hands for our sending forth song, One World Home.
All the joys and the griefs, the colors and beliefs, the sunlight shines upon us all the same. Open minds, loving hearts, helping hands, it's a start. One world home, one world home, one world home. Open minds, loving hearts, helping hands, it's a start. One world home, one world home, one world home. One world home, one world home, one world home.
And now enjoy the coffee and conversation.